Less mistakes when I'm not looking, Kathleen. Good evening, folks. Pat here and Kathleen in Good Fettle. She's taking it nice and easy behind the camera this evening. She had a slightly broken heart this time last week, but it's all fixed up and repaired. And she got a stent installed during the week.
I love your description.
I'm mechanically minded, Kathleen. I work with water pipes and stuff like that, so we commission stuff, we install stuff, we repair stuff. So yours is kind of an installation and repair job, I think. That went very well, thankfully. Yes. So she's trying to jump over her skin, but I have a problem trying to calm her down because she's been told to take it easy for how long, Kathleen?
Well, a week they told me so.
A week?
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't just 3 days? Are you dragging it out, or?
I can drag it to 2 weeks or 3 weeks if you want.
Are you shortening it just to suit yourself? But anyway, folks, this evening you can see behind us, for those of you who are not familiar with Ireland, and a fantastic game called hurling. And the All-Ireland final, which is the biggest match of that particular game in Ireland, is going to happen tomorrow. And as you all know, we're from County Cork, and we are participating, and it's great to see the skill and the technique and the all the different style of hurling. I suppose it's come back the way it should be, and sportsmanship kind of, in my opinion, disappeared for a while. I'm no expert, but the semi-final was absolutely superb to watch, and we're hoping for a very good game again tomorrow. And we're playing our province neighbours, Limerick, and another great team, seriously, and it's going to be a wonderful game, I would think. And of course we're shouting for Cork down here because we're from Cork, but we wish the best team to win, and which is going to be probably Cork. Kathleen, what do you think?
Hope so.
We're known to physically, how would you say, come debate that with us here this evening. We're lucky we're isolated from you all physically, but then I'm expecting some comments. And anyway, folks, probably before tomorrow, folks, if there's any of you from outside Ireland, you should watch this game. And I'm going to post a link where you can watch it live. And you won't be disappointed with the speed of the game and the skill shown. Anyway, we'll continue with a few songs to get us going, and we'll definitely be singing some Cork songs. We might throw in a Limerick song for our friends and neighbours, and hope you're all doing well, folks. This one is about a famous group of Irish guys who ended up in Pennsylvania in the mines, and you've got to look at Wikipedia or somewhere because I'll take all night to explain. They were known as the Molly Maguires. Way for the Molly Maguires. They're drinkers, they're liars, but they're men. Way for the Molly Maguires. You'll never see the likes of them again. Down the mines, those sunlight shines, those pits, they're black as hell. Mud and slime, they do their time, it's Paddy's prison cell. Though they curse the day they travelled far, drown their tears in the jar. So make way for the Molly Maguires. They're drinkers, they're liars, but they're men. Make way for the Molly Maguires. You'll never see the likes of them again. Backs will break and muscles ache, and there's no time to dream of fields and farms, of women's arms, just take that bloody seam. Though they drain their bodies underground, will dare to push them around. So make way for the Molly Maguires. They're drinkers, they're liars, but they're men. Make way for the Molly Maguires. You'll never see the likes of them again. So make way for the Molly Maguires. They're drinkers, they're liars, but they're men. Make way for the Molly Maguires. You'll never see the likes of them again. Everything going all right, Kathleen?
All good. Just a shout out for Cahill Wilson.
Okay.
Ollie O'Malley's nephew. He was the goalkeeper for the Cork under-20s last Wednesday. They won.
Cahill Wilson. A big shout out to you, Cahill. Under 20s, yeah?
Yeah.
And they won last Wednesday.
Yep.
So we're on a roll. And we come from, as I said, Dripsey, County Cork, and Dripsey's in the parish of Inniscarra, and we've got an Inniscarra player on the Cork team tomorrow, so we wish him very well as well. Okay, we'll do a Cork song next, Kathleen, and this one's for you.
Thank you.
So Kathleen, as some of you know, she got some procedure done on her heart last week. As I said, it was slightly broken. It was slightly broken-hearted, Kathleen. And it went very well, so she got a stent in one of her main arteries. It was 70% blocked, so folks, a health warning out there to you. If you feel anything is going a little astray, get it seen after. That's the moral of the story. And Jimmy McCarthy wrote the next song, one of our great composers, Jimmy McCarthy. And Jimmy, as well, got married. He's age 69, I think. Got married about a month ago. So we wish Jimmy and his new wife the very best. It took him a while, but he got there in the end. He got hooked. So there you go. But anyway, he's written so many great songs. This one's called A Bright Blue Rose, one of Kathleen's favourite songs. Isn't it, Kathleen?
It is.
I skimmed across black water without once submerging onto the banks of an urban morning that hungers the first light much, much more than the mountains ever do. And she, like a ghost beside me, goes down with the ease of a dolphin and emerges unlearned, unshamed, unharmed. She is a perfect creature, natural in every feature. I am the geek with the alchemist stone. For all of you who must discover, for all who seek to understand, for having left the path of others, you'll find a very special hand. It is a holy thing, and it is a precious time. It is the only way. Forget-me-nots among the snow, it's always been, and so it goes, to ponder his death and his life eternally. For all of you who must discover, for all who seek to understand, for having left the path of others, you'll find a very special hand. And it is a holy thing, it is a precious time, it is the only way. Forget-me-nots among the snow, it's always been, and so it goes, to ponder his death and his life eternally. One bright blue rose outlives all those, 2,000 years, and still it goes, to ponder his death and his life eternally.
Cork under-17s won tonight. Neil O'Reilly just
Good man, Neil.
messaged in.
We're on a roll. It's only a matter of doing it, I think, Kathleen, yeah? Any
Hopefully.
Limerick people looking in?
They'll have to make themselves known.
Make yourselves known, folks. We'll treat you kindly, because we love our neighbours, as you should. Isn't that right, Kath?
Absolutely.
Speaking of Neil, his birthday was last Thursday. A great friend of ours, Neil, I won't tell him what age you are. You look only 44. And Neil plays guitar and sings himself as well. And some of you are probably familiar with the infamous Carmel Smith. That's Neil's sister. And of course Neil's lovely wife, Joan, and their son, Sean. And like me, Neil is a great fan of Tom Paxton, and I just love Tom Paxton. And he's still alive and kicking, and at 80-something years of age, writing songs. No stopping him. And this is one of his more famous ones that I grew up listening to. And it's your opportunity to sing, folks. And I love when people sing along. I can't hear you, I can just imagine. It's a lesson too late for the learning, made of sand, made of sand. In the wink of an eye, my soul is turning. In your hand, together. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be no trace left behind? Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. You had reasons aplenty for going. This I know, this I know. And the weeds have been steadily growing. These don't go, these don't go. Together, are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be no trace left behind? Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. As I lie in my bed in the morning, without you, without you. Every song in my heart dies a born. Without you, without you. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be no trace left behind? I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. Let's go again. Are you going away with no word of farewell? And will there be no trace left behind? I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. Well, you know that was the last thing on my mind. That's for you, Neil. Hope you had a great birthday on Thursday. And thanks for your help during the week to take me out to clinch the deal on Kathleen's new car. The most famous car we ever got, Kathleen.
It sure
The
is.
most expensive. We're selling loads of things here. The banjos are at stake here. They're at risk. We're doing a risk assessment at the moment on our financials. And you deserve it, Kathleen. And many miles of happy motoring and safe motoring. We can't wait to get your hands in it.
I can't actually.
When did the doctor say you could drive again?
Hopefully I can drive from Thursday.
From Thursday? That's
Yeah.
just because you got the new car, you're bending the rules now, yeah? I just want to drive it first for a day before you, okay?
That's okay, I'll
I'll
allow
take you
you.
for a spin in it.
I'll
yeah?
allow you. I'll allow that.
And we sold our old car today. Just like that.
I missed it.
I didn't get enough money for it, but I left it off anyway. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying yourselves out there, folks, and it's great to have your company again. And this next song, I love this next song because it's a love song, and lots of love songs have often sad endings, and this one's got a lovely happy ending, and it's Irish, and it's about a guy who heads off to Australia way back in the day, and he's going out to seek a better life and a job, and when that is achieved, he promises his sweetheart back home that he will send word, and she comes out and joins him, and that seems to be where it ended up, Kathleen. She got a letter and went out and joined him in Australia. So for all our friends in the southern hemisphere, this one's for you. Start again. Sweetheart, I'm bidding you my fortune to try, and I'm ready to sail away. Far away in Australia, soon will fate be kind, when I will be ready to welcome that lass, the girl I left behind. Oh, you can't believe me, this poor maiden cried, I will not let you go. But I must leave you, he gently replied, if for only a while, you know. Far away in Australia, soon will fate be kind, when I will be ready to welcome at last the girl I left behind. By that old cottage gate, watching the whole day through. Then one day a letter from over the sea, and I'm hoping these words are true. Far away in Australia, now has come the time, when I am ready to welcome at last the girl I left behind. Far away in Australia, now has come the time, when I am ready to welcome at last the girl I left behind. The girl I left behind. Well, as I mentioned several times before, our weekly photograph for promoting the event is sent all the way from Holland, and Mitchell, Waylon and Edwin, and we're going to sing a song this time dedicated to especially to Edwin, because apparently the gentlemen in Holland appear to be very romantic. And this song, I love this song. Liam Clancy was the man who brought it to our ears, written by Mike Smith. And I mentioned the love song. The last one was a love song. This is a love song. A love song with a difference, because most love songs, to my knowledge, are usually about younger couples. And this one is about a couple that's even older than Kathleen and I. And
that's old.
And anyway, it's and they've been madly in love all their lives, like Kathleen and I. And are you laughing at me? But anyway, the lady here, she still loves him as much as she did when they were young and active and agile. But this guy has been fighting in the wars, and he's shell shocked, and he's gone a bit crazy, like most older men do. And so she does some wonderful things for him. She walks along the cobblestone streets of Amsterdam, holds his hand in case he falls and hurts himself. She sews love in his clothes, and the nicest one of all, Kathleen, has done it for the last 10 or 15 years. But she puts whiskey in his tea before he goes to bed. And, it took Kathleen a while to get it right. Well, she still hasn't got it right, really, and I don't complain. I didn't tell her, really. She just puts a little tea in my whiskey instead of whiskey in my tea, but I'm not complaining. And it's a beautiful song, really lovely song. And let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuider Zee. Long ago I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. Dutchman's not the kind of man keep his tongue jammed in the dam that holds his dreams in That's a secret only Margaret knows. When Amsterdam is golden, morning Margaret brings some breakfast. She believes him. He thinks the tulips bloom beneath the snow. He's mad as he can be, but Margaret only sees that sometimes she sees her unborn children in his eyes. Sing it. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuiderzee. Long ago I used to be a young man, and as dear Margaret remembers that for me. The Dutchman still wears wooden shoes, his cap and coat are patched with love that Margaret sewed in. Sometimes he thinks he's still in Rotterdam. He watches tugboats down canals, calls out to them when he thinks he knows the captain. So Margaret comes to take him home again, through unforgiving streets that trip him though she holds his hand. Sometimes he thinks that he's alone and he calls her name. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuiderzee. Long ago I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. Winter winds and winter in, she binds his muffler tighter. They sit in the kitchen. The tea with whiskey keeps away the Jew. Sees her for a moment, calls her name. She makes his bed up, singing some old love song. She learned it when the tune was very new. She hums a line or two, they hum together in the night. The Dutchman falls asleep and Margaret blows the candle out. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuiderzee. Long ago I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. Let's go again. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuiderzee. Long ago I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. Thank you so much, folks. Folks from Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, the next song is for you, and it's a great old song, a sea song called Farewell to Nova Scotia, and dedicated to all our Canadian friends out there. The sun was setting in the west, and the birds they sang on every tree. All ages seemed inclined for the rest, but alas, there was no rest for me. Farewell to Nova Scotia, the sea-bound coast, let your mountains dark and dreary be. But when I am far away o'er the briny ocean tossed, would you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? But I grieve to leave my native home, and I grieve to leave my comrades all, and my dear old aged parents I love so much, and the bonny, bonny lassie that I do adore. Farewell to Nova Scotia, the sea-bound coast, let your mountains dark and dreary be. But when I am far away o'er the briny ocean tossed, would you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? Well, the drums do beat and the wars do alarm, the captain calls, you must obey. So farewell, farewell to my Nova Scotian home, for it's early in the morning and I must away. Farewell to Nova Scotia, the sea-bound coast, let your mountains dark and dreary be. But when I am far away o'er the briny ocean tossed, would you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? Well, I have 3 brothers, now they are at rest, their hands are folded across their breast. But a dear old simple sailor just like me must be tossed and left in the deep blue sea. Farewell to Nova Scotia, the sea-bound coast, let the mountains dark and dreary be. But when I am far away o'er the briny ocean tossed, would you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? Farewell to Nova Scotia, the sea-bound coast, let your mountains dark and dreary be. But when I am far away o'er the briny ocean tossed, would you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? Would you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? Would you ever heave a sigh or a wish for me? Thank you, folks. Well, I'm going to give the next song a go, and this one is about another Cork man, and Michael Collins. And this man died. It'll be his 99th anniversary of his death tomorrow. Michael Collins and Devil Era. There's lots of theories and debates about what happened, and eventually it leads, of course, to the Civil War. This is the War of Independence was going on 100 years ago this year, and I wrote a song myself which I'll sing later on, but this one was written by Johnny McAvoy, but Michael Collins. This is my first time singing it, folks, because remember before I used to play with a good friend Dan O'Sullivan, and Dan used to cover this one, so I did a great job on it as well, so I'm going to give it a go. Michael Collins, some of you may have seen the movie several years back, and our history is certainly colourful. On a far off August day, cold young men in ambush lay on a roadside by a hill where flowers grow. So much hate for one so young, who was right and who was wrong. Though 1,000 years may pass, we never know. Candles dripping blood, they place beside your shoulder. Rosary beads like teardrops on your fingers. Friends and comrades standing by, in their grief they wonder why. Michael, in their hour of need, you had to go. And when evening twilight came, gently fell the autumn rain. Did you lay still and silent on the ground, as we hung our heads in prayer, in our sorrow and despair? We wonder, was it friend or foe who shot you down? Candles dripping blood, they placed beside your shoulder. Rosary beads like teardrops on your fingers. Friends and comrades standing by, in their grief they wonder why. Michael, in their hour of need, you had to go. Now the flame that you held high, when you called out to the sky to end this senseless killing and this shame, has now passed to other hands and is carried through the land by some not fit to even speak your name. Candles dripping blood, they place beside your shoulder. Rosary beads like teardrops on your fingers. Friends and comrades standing by, in their grief they wonder why. Michael, in their hour of need, you had to go. Michael, in their hour of need, why did you go? That was written by the great Johnny McAvoy, and if you're not familiar with Michael Collins, his passing, or some people would call it a murder, you can look, there's loads of information on the internet, but Bailnablaw, not too far from here, about 15 miles from here, is where he was shot by another Irishman, and lots of confusion as to what may have happened, and lots of theories. And we'll continue with a song, a funny song written by, again, one of my favourite Irish artists, Tommy Macon, and I'll sing it at a reasonable pace for those of you who don't. I want you to hear the words of this one. It's a very well put together song, and it's called The Liar. I was, I need to go up another to actually up to E, I think. I was born about 10,000 years ago in Balmullet in the county of Mayo. It was me that chased the vermin while St. Patrick preached a sermon. If I knew a bigger lie, I'd tell you so. Singing rightful tooralally, toorally. There is no one who can tell a lie like me. You can search until you tire, you won't find a bigger liar. I've been lying since the dawn of history. I saw Eve go picking apples off a tree. She came over and she offered one to me. Then I turned and said, dear madam, you can try your luck with Adam. I'm not home to have some fish and chips and tea. Singing rightful tooralally, toorally. There is no one who can tell a lie like me. You can search until you tire, you won't find a bigger liar. I've been lying since the dawn of history. I saw Delilah cutting Samson's hair. She slipped away until his head was bare. When he couldn't run away, they married him next day. Opened up a barber shop in Clare. Singing rightful tooralally, toorally. There is no one who can tell a lie like me. You can search until you tire, you won't find a bigger liar. I've been lying since the dawn of history. 'Twas King Billy up the Boyne, I heard him call for his followers to follow till they'd fall. And he says we'll win quite easily, and we canonise young Paisley. And he upped and sang a verse of Derry's Wall. Singing rightful tooralally, toorally. There is no one who can tell a lie like me. You can search until you tire, you won't find a bigger liar. I've been lying since the dawn of history. It was during World War II I met them all. There was Roosevelt, Churchill and de Gaulle. And one day I nearly fainted, I was having my house painted. There was Hitler hanging paper in the hall. Saying rightful tooralally, toorally. There is no one who can tell a lie like me. You can search until you tire, you won't find a bigger liar. I've been lying since the dawn of history. Singing rightful tooralally, toorally. There is no one who can tell a lie like me. You can search until you tire, you won't find a bigger liar. I've been lying since the dawn of history. I've been lying since the dawn of history. Tom T. Hall passed away is right. I don't know any of his songs, folks. I'm not smooth enough. But what a marvellous singer he was. And there's a lot of good guys and gals going. And Nancy Griffith only over a week ago and so forth. And I think, folks, you'd all like to see Kathleen with her stint. You won't see the stint from the outside, I think, Kathleen. No?
I doubt it.
So welcome Kathleen aboard. She's going to leave from behind the camera and appear.
I'll hold on to
What's his name,
Basil,
Kathleen?
isn't it? Basil.
So, folks, she's still alive and kicking, looking better than ever. She's dying to get going again, aren't you, Kathleen?
Sure am.
And she was absolutely flabbergasted. She's very shy like myself, and with all your well wishes during the week, I think
absolutely.
you really
They kept me going.
Yeah, I appreciated them. And,
definitely. Thanks to everyone, honestly. I suppose, blown away with so many comments, everything. Thank you all. It meant a hell of a lot to me.
Okay, and how do you feel now?
Feel great.
No different. You feel better?
I suppose time will tell.
Okay.
Another few days, I'll be flying it.
If you don't tell them now what's happening, we could be it might be appearing next week again, you know?
Well, of course. Oh no,
of course. Oh yeah, she just gave in, folks. That's fine. You heard her.
I'll see you at the other side.
So thanks, Kathleen, and she's gone back behind the camera, and only it's a team as work here, as we say, and it's not easy to come up and look at. It's taken me over a year to feel comfortable with just looking at the backside of a smartphone.
And it's not easy. I don't know how you do it. It's
Did you kind of imagine you were talking to folks there, Kathleen?
well, yeah, but it's kind of a bit different at that side because you're just looking at.
As we're on the subject of being behind or in front of, well, it's the back of the phone I'm looking at. You've probably seen it on my Facebook posts. I'm going to be playing my first live gig next weekend in Ballincollig, just about 6 miles from here, and it's going to be outside Nosh and Coffee in Ballincollig Shopping Centre, starting at 2 o'clock. I think I'm on first, and there's Strictly Cash, a Johnny Cash tribute band playing the second hour. So it's on from 2 to 4, and I'm starting at 2 o'clock sharp. If you'd like to come along, and most importantly, it's fundraising for Penny Dinners in Cork, who do fantastic work. Penny Dinners has been going a long time in Cork City, so it's for a good cause as well, folks. And I'd love to see some of you local folks over there if you'd like to come and support both the cause, and I'd love to see you myself as well. And Kathleen, are you coming?
Oh, of course.
Kathleen will be there.
My
and
new
you'll see her
car.
in reality. And anyway, I'm going to sing the next song and dedicate it to Kathleen's private consultant, who happens to be a professor of medicine. And I think Anthony Cummins gave you a lot of
He was brilliant. He was great.
information and a lot of confidence going into this procedure.
He did.
It's not easy when you hear someone's going to be doing something to your heart. I would think myself anyway.
Well, it's a bit frightening.
Yeah, but in fairness to Anthony, he explained everything to us and gave us information to read and diagrams and stuff like that, and we knew exactly what was happening thanks to him. And very important, he told us in layman's language. And dedicate the next song to him and his lovely wife Martina, a friend of Kathleen's for years and years. That sounds ancient, but I'll stop there. I know you like this song, and here's my version. I meddled a bit with the arrangement, and I hope you like it. It's all about Sam Hall, who robbed the rich to help the poor, and I think he was originally known as Jack Hall over there in England, and the song found its way all over the English-speaking folk tradition. Oh, me name it is Sam Hall, chimney sweep, chimney sweep. Oh, me name it is Sam Hall, chimney sweep. Oh, me name it is Sam Hall, and I robbed both great and small. And me neck will pay for all when I die, when I die. And me neck will pay for all when I die. I've got 20 pounds in store, that's not all, that's not all. I've got 20 pounds in store, that's not all. I've got 20 pounds in store, and I'll rob with 20 more. Saying the rich must help the poor, so must I, so must I. The rich must help the poor, so must I. They took me to Coot Hill in the cart, in the cart. Oh, they took me to Coot Hill in the cart. They took me to Coot Hill, where I stopped to make my will. Saying the best of friends must part, so must I, so must I. Saying the best of friends must part, so must I. Up the ladder I did grope, that's no joke, that's no joke. Up the ladder I did grope, that's no joke. Up the ladder I did grope, and the hangman pulled the rope. And there a word I spoke, tumbling down, tumbling down. And there a word I spoke, tumbling down. Oh, me name it is Sam Hall, chimney sweep, chimney sweep. Oh, me name it is Sam Hall, chimney sweep. Oh, me name it is Sam Hall, and I've robbed both great and small. And me neck will pay for all when I die, when I die. And me neck will pay for all when I die. Thank you, folks. And that was Cavan asked for, hello Cavan, pinning up down there in New Zealand. Sorry Cavan, I don't have a Tom T. Hall song, and but greetings to you, and thank you for your daily videos. Cavan does a song every day. It's a commitment. Our weekly show is a commitment, Kathleen. We're doing something every day.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway, we'll do another Cork song, and the boys who beat the Blackened hands are the boys from the County Cork. You'll find in history's pages heroes of great fame, the deeds they done, the battles won, and how they made their name. But the men who made a history, to the orange, white and green, were the men who died in Dublin town in 1916. Some of them came from Kerry, some of them came from Clare, Dublin, Wicklow, Donegal, and the boys from the old Kelleher. Some from the land beyond the sea, from Boston and New York. The boys who beat the Blackened hands were the boys from the County Cork. In Ireland's rebel county, our heroes fought and died. Tom Barry and his gallant crew filled Irish hearts with pride. From Skibbereen to Bandon to Bantry by the sea, our brave young Michael Collins fought for Ireland's liberty. Some of them came from Kerry, some of them came from Clare, Dublin, Wicklow, Donegal, the boys from the old Kelleher. Some from the land beyond the sea, Boston and New York. The boys who beat the Blackened hands were the boys from the County Cork. Cork gave us Mac Sweeney, a martyr he to die. Wicklow gave us the Wire in those long days long gone by. Dublin gave us Patrick Pearse, McBride and Colin Brew. America gave us Devil Era to lead all Ireland through. Some of them came from Kerry, some of them came from Clare. Dublin, Wicklow, Donegal and the boys from the old Kelleher. Some from the land beyond the sea, Boston and New York. The boys who baked the Blackened tans were the boys from the County Cork. We seem to be divided, I really don't know why. We had brave men and heroes who for Ireland they did die. Why not get together, join in unity, the north, the south, the east, the west, and soon see Ireland free. Some of them came from Kerry, some of them came from Clare. Dublin, Wicklow, Donegal, the boys from the old Kelleher. Some from the land beyond the sea, from Boston and New York. The boys who baked the Blackened tans were the boys from the County Cork. Some of them came from Kerry, some of them came from Clare. Dublin, Wicklow, Donegal, the boys from the old Kelleher. Some from the land beyond the sea, from Boston and New York. The boys who baked the Blackened tans were the boys from the County Cork. Yes, the boys who baked the Blackened tans, the boys from the County Cork. Up the rebels. Hope the lads will do tomorrow. They're a great team together, and so up Cork tomorrow, and best of luck to you, Limerick, as well. And we're very proud to be Corkonians, because we're like a law unto ourselves, Kathleen, aren't we?
Absolutely.
We're a unique community for sure. Okay. Next song I'm going to do especially for Mary O'Leary over there in Boston, whose birthday is today, Kathleen?
Yep.
Mary is from Kerry originally and living in Boston for many, many years. And I keep mentioning Foley's of Kinmare, and hello to everyone down there in Kinmare as well, of course. All our usual haunts, Charlie Maddens, Tim League, Ross Carberry, Ballincollig, Macroom. And Mary living in Boston for many years, and a very generous and loving lady anytime we meet her, either in Ireland and in Boston, and her family of course as well. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday dear Mary, happy birthday to you. Hope you had a wonderful day, Mary. You could be out at the moment with your family celebrating, and Mary often looks at the stream later, and hopefully you'll get to see her. Happy birthday, especially for you. And one of the great old songs of our song tradition. I love singing it, and Luke Kelly's version is my favourite. In a neat little town they call Belfast, apprentice to trade I was bound, and many the hours sweet happiness have I spent in that neat little town, till a sad misfortune came over me, caused me to stray from the land, far away from my friends and relations, to follow the black velvet band. Everybody say, her eyes they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land, and her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. I took a stroll down Broadway, meaning not long for to stay. Who should I meet but this pretty fair maid, come a traipsing along the highway? She was both fair and handsome, her neck it was just like a swan, and her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Here we go. Her eyes they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land, and her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Well, I took a stroll with this pretty fair maid, and a gentleman passing us by, I knew that she meant the doing of him by by the look in her roguish black eye. Then ago what she took from his pocket and placed it right into my hand. And the very next thing that I said was, that says to the black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. I took a stroll with this pretty fair maid and the gentleman passing us by. I knew that she meant the doing of him by the look in her roguish black eye. Then ago what she took from his pocket and she placed it right into my hand. The very next thing that I said was, bad luck to the black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Before the judge and the jury, next morning we had to appear. The judge, he says to me, young man, your case it is proven clear. We'll give you 7 years penal servitude to be spent far away from the land, far away from your friends and relations, betrayed by the black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. So come all you jolly young fellows, a warning take by me. When you are out on the town, me boys, beware of them pretty colleens. They'll feed you whiskey and porter until you're unable to stand. And the very next thing that you'll know is you've landed in Bandyman's land. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Let's go again. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds, I thought her the queen of the land. And her hair hung over her shoulders, tied up with a black velvet band. Especially for you, Mary O'Leary. Hope you had a great birthday. And time for another Cork song. Up the Rebels. Well, there was an ambush nearby here in Gypsy, and it was to some extent a bit of a failure, but there was some retaliation after the ambush that may have made up for it in some small way. But anyway, it took place on the 28th of January 1921, and I decided I'd write a song about it. And there was a lady of gentry nearby, Mrs. Lindsay, and she gave the game away, and the British were aware before arriving near the Gypsy ambush site. And the ambush, as I said, there was none of the volunteers were killed on the day on site, injured all right, and they were taken away and executed later in Cork. On the 28th of January in the year of 21, the IRA were ready with the uniform and gun. 'Twas a bitter Friday morning, just before daylight. The Godfrey's Cross they gathered and waited for the fight. The British were expected, and the ambush it was planned. An escape route was agreed, and now the wait began. But Mrs. Lindsay knew before and gave the game away. The British, they were well prepared, and now we're on their way. Here comes the chorus. All you who fought in Gypsy on that cold January day, some gave your lives for freedom, and others got away. Your deeds will be remembered in our country's history. You brave and gallant men have helped to set old Ireland free. The local priest had warned them that the British were aware. The IRA did not believe, kept on waiting there. They saw the British coming, and they knew it spelt defeat. Then the IRA commander gave the order to retreat. Many managed to escape through local fields and glen. 8 IRA were captured and 2 local men. 5 were sentenced for to die by British firing squad on the 28th of February to be sent to meet their God. All you who fought in Gypsy on the cold January day, some gave your lives for freedom and others got away. Your deeds will be remembered in our country's history. Your brave and gallant men have helped to set old Ireland free. Lindsay, she was captured with her chauffeur Clark, then were taken hostage upon the mountains dark. But Lindsay's letter was ignored. They shot the sentenced men. In Cork jail they were laid to rest. We won't see their likes again. Lindsay and her chauffeur Clark were destined for to die. The IRA, they killed them into a common grave to lie. Her body, it was disinterred and never was returned. On the night after they both were killed, her Leamount house was burned. All you who fought in Gypsy on the cold January day, some gave your lives for freedom and others got away. Your deeds will be remembered in our country's history. Your brave and gallant men have helped set old Ireland free. Your brave and gallant men have helped to set old Ireland free. Thank you, folks. Our weekly requests. Anyone looking for Caroline in the fall, Kathleen?
They're afraid to ask you at this stage.
Afraid to ask me.
But they'll be happy to hear it.
As a matter of fact, we just found out at the end of our drive, at the end of our lane, across the road from us, there's a man from North Carolina in our neighbourhood. Isn't that a small world? And I met him today, Luke. Hello, Luke. He's our new neighbour, and he's got Irish connections, strong Irish connections to my knowledge. And I was telling him how I got to meet with Tony and Jenny Deal, and through that we got to Merlefest and Lenorn in the foothills of North Carolina. I met so many people. Again, I'm afraid to mention, I forget, we had Tom and Gail Watts, we've Michael and Donna Fox, Patrick and Kay Crouch, Tony and Jenny Deal, Morris and Denise Shipman,
Tammy and Margaret now.
Tammy and Margaret are new friends online. We can't wait to go across and meet those two ladies in person and their friends. And obviously John Dooley and Melissa, Roger and Michelle Cronford. The list goes on. So I'm just bragging about how many people I know in North Carolina, and we just love the place. And Kathleen came from Ryland, not too far from here, the top of a mountain. And I told her when we went to North Carolina, she was a bit apprehensive at first, but when she got there, she just loved the place. I knew she would. And this song is written by some immigrants into North Carolina. And the Kruger brothers, who I first saw performing in Dripsy in my sister Anne's pub and her husband Johnny's back in the late 90s. The Kruger brothers, I think they were born in Germany and grew up in Switzerland, and they immigrated to North Carolina, to Wilkesboro in 2003, and they've become really good friends of us. And every time we go over, we meet them and play some music together. And of course, they perform annually in Merlefest, that big festival of Americana and bluegrass country. It's just a massive, massive festival with a great mix of music. But anyway, the Krugers loved the American music, and they immigrated in 2003. And people in North Carolina have been very, very hospitable to us and friendly and generous. And it seems like the Krugers had the same experience, and they wrote this beautiful song called Carolina in the Fall. We won't forget our friends. Our first connection with America was in Massachusetts, and then we found many friends between in Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, New York, Rhode Island, New Hampshire and Maine, and all those places in New England as well. And so we say hello to Betts Allen and to Seamus Kennedy and all those folks down there, Jimmy Farrell. And also a big hello to Martin Reedy up there in Dublin as well, who's doing great for Irish folk music. He's got a fantastic page, several pages as a matter of fact. Making and Clancy is one of his, and the other is A Feast of Irish Folk. And there's some fantastic information and posts in there. Look it up, Feast of Irish Folk, and the great Martin really keeping that show on the road. Thank you, Martin, for all your friendship and communications and opportunities. And Caroline in the Fall, we'll dedicate this to a Cork man living in Dublin for a good few years now, Tom Coughlin, and there's no guessing who he's going to be shouting for tomorrow. All the places I have been to, all the things that I have seen, since I left my home to wander when I was just 15. Though the travelling was easy, still sometimes the road got rough, and by the time that I turned 35, I thought I'd seen enough. But for me to settle down a while was not what God had planned. So one more time I left my home with my suitcase in my hand. Though the journey took me far and wide across the deep blue sea, and now I know since I've been there where I was meant to be. And I've seen the sunsets on the ocean, seen the desert bloom, drove the endless highways beneath the prairie moon. Yet the picture in my mind I see when I think about it all is the color of the leaves, Carolina in the fall. Sang the songs Doc has told to me, and the things that he would sing about, I never dreamed I'd see. In the hills of Carolina, folks have opened up the door, and for the first time in my life, I'm not a stranger anymore. And I've seen sunsets on the ocean, seen the desert blue, drove the endless highways beneath the prairie moon. Yet the picture in my mind I see when I think about it all is the color of the leaves in Carolina in the fall. I see when I think about it all is the color of the leaves in Carolina in the fall. And of course the Kruger brothers were great fans, and he was a big inspiration. Doc Watson, one of the great stories from North Carolina, and Doc was blind from a very young age, but absolutely fantastic singer and musician, collector of songs, and there's only one Doc, and I was lucky to have seen him a couple of times at Merrillfest before his passing in 2012. And of course North Carolina has brought so many great musicians, and Earl Scruggs, the maestro banjo player in the bluegrass style, three finger picking style. And I'm feeling a kind of a bragging mood this evening, Kathleen. Because I was the first Irishman to play in the Earl Scruggs Centre in Shelby, North Carolina. Well, kind of. It was Ricky, my son, was with me. But I got the gig through Michael Fox. So myself and my son were the first Irishmen to play in Earl Scruggs, and I played there a second time as well. And there's such lovely people down there. And we got to friend Earl's niece and his nephew, J.T. Scruggs. And what's his niece's name again, Kathleen?
Grace, isn't it?
Grace. And it was great. JT's nephew gave myself and Neil O'Reilly a grand tour in his beautiful Ford pickup truck, crew cab truck, and showed us where Earl Scruggs was born and where he grew up and where he got the picking sequence together on the porch one day. Anyway, I could stay talking all evening about stuff like that. And now there's I've Carolina in the fall done, so it's Limerick and Cork songs from now on. And Mike Minahan, he's looking from Sean South from Gary Owen. Great song about a great man, and I know it, Mike, so I can't refuse you. And my first cousin Bernie O'Grady up there, she's looking for the Bow Teddy Quill, which is on the. You were saying it's the song she likes. I thought she was looking for it.
No,
she's on the whiteboard here. She's on this case. And I will dedicate that to Bernie and her husband, who happens to be a Limerick man, I think. She might confirm that. So that house is, it is actually, it's a split house. I think Mike Minahan's is also a split house. There's a green and white flag and there's a red and white flag out there. And I was going to do Limerick You're a Lady as well. I don't really know the song very well, so I'm going to have to read the lyrics. But Kathleen, you remember dancing to Dennis Allen. He was one of your favourite.
He was.
He was your heartthrob, was he?
Well, he was
How
good.
could you say that about a Limerick man?
He was good. He was
you were lucky
always.
to get me, you know. And Mike Minahan is a great musician himself and does wonderful work up there in a festival we just love attending every January up there in 6 Mile Bridge in Bunratty. Okay, Mick, here's the deal. If I sing the song, these two songs, I want to gig at the next festival whenever it's going to be on 2022. So that's the deal, okay? You always have to wheel and deal, and don't take it too seriously, Mike. You know, we always have a bit of banter and we played tunes together, and I can't wait to meet again. Great fiddle player and tenor banjo player. Anyway, I'm going to try Limerick Your Lady, and then we'll go for Sean South from Gary On. We'll get those Limerick songs
out of the way
first. Make your outnumbered here, man. Limerick, you're my lady, your Shannon waters, tears of joy that flow, the beauty that surrounds you, I'll take it with me, love, wherever I go. Waking in the arms of distant waters, a new day finds me far away from home. Then Limerick, you're my lady, the one true love that I have ever known. Endless days of fun, winter snow or summer golden sand. Yeah.
Do you want me to put it closer to you?
Oh, I'm fine. We fish by silver streams, the fabric of our dreams was fashioned by your loveliness, and so I have to say, all the two Limerick fans. Limerick, you're my lady, your Shannon waters, tears of joy that flow, the beauty that surrounds you, I'll take it with me, love, wherever I go. While waking in the arms of distant waters, a new day finds me far away from home. Limerick, you're my lady, the one true love that I have ever known. The gift that time has made to travelers on their way, seeking out the beauty of our land. The shrine where children play, and bells shout to say, thank God we're living to just see the freedom of each day. And Limerick, you're my lady, your Shannon waters, tears of joy that flow, the beauty that surrounds you, I take it with me, love, wherever I go. While waking in the arms of distant waters, a new day finds me far away from home. And Limerick, you're my lady, the one true love that I have ever known. An absolutely great song.
It's a beautiful song.
A beautiful song with
Which
by
is
Dinner
for sure.
Sound. And okay, we'll get as we said, we'll get the Limerick songs out of the way and get on to the real stuff. Here's a song about a famous rebel, Sean South from Gary On. Carmel, stay off the table now. You know,
She's
so
up in Ennis At the
looking in
moment
it.
she is, and she's playing you in the...
Good girl, Carmel. So she's in neutral territory.
Yep.
She's neither in Cork or
She's
in
in Edison. You're being playing in the room at the moment, so...
Thank you, Carmel. Hope you're enjoying yourself. It was on a dreary New Year's Eve, shades of light came down. A lorry load of volunteers approached the border town. There were men from Dublin and from Cork, Fermanagh and Tyrone, and the leader was a Limerick man, shone south from Garryo. As they moved along the street up to the barrack door, they scorned the danger they might face, that fate that lay in store. They were fighting for old Ireland to claim their very own, and the leader was a Limerick man, shot south from Garryo. But the sergeant he filed their daring plan, he spied them through the door. With Sten guns and their rifles, a hail of death they pour. And when that awful night was past, two lads lay cold as stone. There was one from near the border and one from Garryo. No more will we hear the seagulls cry, or the murmuring Shannon tide, for he fell beneath the northern skies, brave Hamlin by his side. He is gone to join that gallant band of Plunkett, Pearce and Tone, a martyr for old Ireland, shone south from Garryo. Another martyr for old Ireland, shone south from Garryo. There was a great banter between the Lord Mayors of Limerick and Cork coming up to the final, and it's great to see some humour and some good vibes in a world that has a negative in it as well. So we'll keep, as I said before, we'll keep the glass half full, and may the best team win. Okay, it's time for the Cork songs. The Boys of Fairhill. Come on, boys, and you see lads and lassies full of glee, famous for all they would make your heart thrill. The boys, they will not harm you, the girls, they'll charm you. Here's up the mall, says the boys of Fairhill. Smell from Patrick's Bridge's wicket, how does father match his ticket? Here's up the mall, says the boys of Fairhill. Shandon steeple stands up straight, the river Lee flows underneath. Here's up the mall, says the boys of Fairhill. The Blackpool girls are very rude, they go swimming in the nude. Here's up the mall, says the boys of Fairhill. The Blackpool lads are very nice, I have tried them once or twice. Here's up the mall, says the boys of Fairhill. The Limerick hens don't lay tall, when they lay them small. Here's up the mall, says the boys of Fairhill. The Limerick girls are very small, up against the dockyard wall. Here's up the mall, says the boys of Ferryhill. Here we go. Hurlers galore here down here in Cork. Christy ring, he hooked the ball. We hooked Christy, ball and all. Here's up the mall, says the boys of Ferryhill. If you want to join the best hurling club, just come down to the Sheebeen pub. Here's up the mall, says the boys of Ferryhill. The smell from Patrick's Bridge is wicked, how this father matches sticked. Here's up the mall, says the boys of Ferryhill. Shandon steeple stands up straight, the river leaf flows underneath. Here's up the mall, says the boys of Ferryhill. Here's up the mall, says the boys of Ferryhill. And it's here's up the mall, says the boys of Ferryhill. Up Cork! That's what we say. And thank you, folks. We're going to do a song from my cousin up there and the Baltady Quill. Every song about Cork there's hurling mentioned in it. We're so good at hurling. Ye maids of Duhallow who were anxious for courting, a lord of advice I will give unto you. Proceed to Bantier to the athletic sports fields and hand in your names to the club committee. Do not commence any sketch of your programme till the carriage you see coming over the hill. Down to the valleys and glens of Kilcorny with their own darling sportsman, the Baltady Quill. Raise a glass for rambling, for roving, for football and sporting, for drinking black porter as fast as you fill. And in all your days roving you'll find one so jovial as a Muskerry sportsman, the Baltady Quill. Listen up. At the great hurling match between Cork and Tipperary, there's played in the park by the banks of the Lee. Our own darling boys were afraid of being beaten. They sent for Baltady to Ballinagre. Well, he hurled the ball right and left in their faces, showed the Tipperary boys action and skill. If they came in his way, he swore he would brain them, and the papers were full of the praise for Tate Quill. For rambling, for roving, for football and sporting, for drinking black porter as fast as you fill. In all your days roving you'll find none so jovial as the Muskerry sportsman, the Baltady Quill. Exhibition there was a fair lady whose fortune exceeded $1 million or more, but a bad constitution had ruined her completely, and medical treatment had failed o'er and o'er. Here a mama, says she, I know what will ease me and cure this disease that is threatening to kill. Give over your doctors and medical treatment, I'd rather a squeeze of the Baltady Quill. Together, for rambling, for roving, for football and sporting, for drinking black porter as fast as you fill. In all your days roving you'll find none so jovial as a Muskerry sportsman, the Baltady Quill. In all your days roving you'll find none so jovial as the Muskerry sportsman, the Baltady Quill. The Muskerry sportsman, the Baltady Quill. Best of luck to both tomorrow. We'll be shouting for Cork and also for the Inniscarra player, Mark Coleman.
I think that's the Teresa Sullivan said, I'm sure.
That's the guy, I couldn't think of his name earlier. There's some lovely posters on, or what would you call them? what they call posters, Kathleen, big ones
Yeah,
down the road.
that's right.
Wishing him the very best,
That's
and
right.
we do of course wish Mark the very best. And great team. I'm not a great hurler, and don't follow sport like I should maybe, but I thought the semi-final was just such a super game to watch, and I'll be at the edge of my seat tomorrow, and I know it's going to be a good one, folks. And anyone that's going to the match, hope you enjoy it. Be safe. And anyone that's watching it, of course, be safe as well, and keep your distance, because those COVID numbers are climbing again. And from Kathleen and I, we'd like to bid you good night with the last one, and the anthem, the Cork anthem, and we'll sing it together. Mickey might join in as well. And may the best team win, as I say, but we'll be shouting for Cork, big O. And Kathleen, thank you for hanging in there tonight with your new stint.
Not a bother.
Doing the stint with your new stint. And thank you, folks, for joining us this evening. For those of you who are not from Cork or from Ireland, forgive all the banter. It's just something we're all excited about. And as I said, we'll put a link up to where you can watch it live if you'd like to. The kick-off is 3:30, is it, Kathleen?
That's correct.
Tomorrow, Irish time. And but you can surely watch it later on RTE Player, I think, anyway. Okay, let's go with this one. Oh, how oft do my thoughts in their fancy take flight to the home of my childhood away, to the days when each patriot's vision seemed bright, ere I dreamed that those joys would decay, and my heart was as light as the wild winds that blow down the Margaret to each elm tree. Together, where we sported and played, neath each green leafy shade, on the banks of my own lovely lea. Where we sported and played, neath each green leafy shade, on the banks of my own lovely lea. And then in the springtime of laughter and song, will I ever forget the sweet hours with my friends of my youth, as we wandered along amongst the green mossy banks and wildflowers. Then too, when the evening sun's setting to rest sheds its golden light over the sea. Come on. Where we sported and played, neath each green leafy shade, on the banks of my own lovely lea. The maid with her lover, the wild daisies pressed, on the banks of my own lovely lea. Come on. Where we sported and played, neath each green leafy shade. Come on. On the bank